Welcome to The Newsworthy. All the day's news in less than 10 minutes. Fast, fair, fun, and on the go. Today, an update about the shooting in California, a new immigration rule, and Florida's election drama, plus Girl Scouts, Disney Plus, and Walmart AI. Those stories and more in less than 10 minutes. I'm Erica Mandy. Today is Friday, November 9th. You ready? Let's do this. Here's what we know now about the mass shooting at a Southern California bar. The LA Times reports at least 13 people were killed, including Sheriff Sergeant Ron Heelis, who responded to the scene. 18-year-old Elena Housley was another victim. She's the niece of actress Tamara Mowry Housley from Sister Sister and The Real. The gunman also died. He likely killed himself. It was college night with country music dance lessons at a country music bar in Thousand Oaks, California, a suburb of Los Angeles. The New York Times reports some of the survivors and one of the victims were also at the Country Music Festival in Las Vegas last year when a gunman opened fire there. The AP reports the shooter was a 28-year-old Afghanistan war veteran who has had a run-in with police before. Police say he had a handgun with an illegal extra-capacity magazine. Investigators are still looking for a possible motive. But get this, yesterday, crowds of people stood in line for hours to donate blood for several people hurt. And during a procession for the sheriff sergeant who died, thousands of people lined the freeway to pay their respects. The California governor-elect and President Trump called for flags to fly at half-staff to honor the victims. Unfortunately, a couple wildfires have impacted neighborhoods not too far from that shooting in California. ABC News reports more than 1,000 homes had to be evacuated and parts of a freeway in the area were shut down. And north of Sacramento, an even bigger out-of-control fire is forcing thousands of people to evacuate. The Sacramento Bee said most of the 27,000 people who live in a community called Paradise evacuated, and the fire has destroyed hundreds of buildings. The Trump administration is using special national security powers to change an immigration rule. The new rule says anyone who comes into the U.S. illegally is no longer eligible for asylum. It says instead they should report to official ports of entry before ever crossing the border. Immigration advocates told NPR it violates existing U.S. laws. They say anyone can apply for asylum protections if they're fleeing things like war and violence in their home countries, saying this new rule would lead to a humanitarian crisis. So expect there to be a legal fight on this one. Remember, President Trump is likely responding to a group of Central American migrants who say they're heading for the U.S. For now, the BBC says that group of about 5,000 migrants are resting in Mexico City, staying in a stadium. Post-election drama in the swing state of Florida. Both the races for governor and U.S. Senate are so close, there may have to be recounts. And now one candidate is claiming there's been fraud. The outgoing Florida governor, Rick Scott, who ran for Senate, said he told state officials to investigate 2 local election offices now. But his opponent, Bill Nelson, says the fraud claim is just political. As for the race for Florida governor, even though Democrat Andrew Gillum conceded and agreed that Republican Ron DeSantis won on election night, that actually might be in question now. The race got even closer as more votes were counted. And under Florida law, a recount is mandatory if the margin is less than 0.5 percentage points when the first count is verified on Saturday, which is tomorrow. So stay tuned. Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg is in the hospital. She fell at her office this week and has 3 broken ribs. At 85 years old, she's the oldest Supreme Court justice. And because of her age, some Democrats are concerned about how much longer she'll be able to serve on the Supreme Court. President Trump has appointed 2 new justices that are more conservative than Ginsburg. But Ginsburg has said earlier this year she plans to stay on the bench for at least 5 more years. The Girl Scouts of the USA are suing the Boy Scouts of America. No, the 2 organizations are actually not connected. And the Girl Scouts group is not happy that Boy Scouts is planning to drop the boy part of its name, at least for one of its programs, because it's welcoming older girls starting next year. The lawsuit is over the Girl Scouts trademark. CNN reports the Girl Scouts are concerned that the Boy Scouts' new program will cause confusion. The Boy Scouts of America said in a statement it applauds all organizations serving young people and wants to provide more options to families. A quick break now for today's sponsor, Babbel, the #1 selling language learning app in the world. You can learn Spanish, French, Italian, German, Russian, and many more languages. Babbel makes it feel possible to learn a new language even as an adult. In fact, I wish I had this program in high school. Maybe I would have stuck with it. There are 2 main things that are great about Babbel. 1, Babbel has short lessons, just 10 to 15 minutes, so you can make progress each day or week without any huge hours-long commitment. And 2, it focuses on real-life conversations and situations, so you're learning the stuff that you'll actually use. The lessons are crafted by language experts and voiced by native speakers, so you know you'll get this right. And you can learn a language anytime, anywhere, on your desktop, smartphone, or tablet, and your progress is synced across all those devices. Just go to Babbel.com and use the promo code NEWS for 50% off your first 3 months. That's Babbel, Babbel.com, and use the promo code NEWS for half off your first 3 months. Now back to the news. The number of Americans smoking cigarettes is at its lowest ever recorded. CBS News cites new government data showing an estimated 14% of U.S. adults are smoking cigarettes every day or some days as of last year. And that's actually down 15.5% from 2016. But health officials still say it's too many Americans using tobacco products, and there's still major concern about young people getting their hands on e-cigarettes. Fewer Americans are also watching cable and satellite TV. A research firm found more than 1 million people cut off their TV packages in the third quarter of 2018, the most cord cutters in one quarter ever. At the same time, there are more streaming video services becoming available. We're now learning more about Disney's new planned streaming service. It'll be called Disney Plus, and it's set to be available in late 2019. CNBC reports it'll be where you can get Disney's past titles and original series, as well as some new content, like new original Marvel and Star Wars series. And Disney says it will be pulling all of its movies and content off Netflix starting next year. Walmart wants to use artificial intelligence to help run its stores more efficiently. TechCrunch reports Walmart has plans to launch what it's calling an intelligent retail lab inside one of its stores in New York. Apparently, the AI will be used to do things like recognize when items are running low on stock or identify spills on the floor. For now, the company is working to install the equipment to make it possible. And that's it for today. Thank you so much for listening. As always, if you want to read more about any of the stories mentioned, I list all the sources and story links for you in today's show notes. Just head on over to thenewsworthy.com, click episodes, and find today's date. The Newsworthy is ready for you every weekday by 4 in the morning Eastern Time. So I'll be back with more news on Monday. Have a great weekend.